So the traditional means of finding a house means that you'll get pre-qualified for a loan, then you'll find a great realtor. They'll give you access to the MLS, and then you'll have millions of properties to choose from. But only millions of other people have access to those properties. Qualifying for a mortgage is extremely hard, and interest rates are extremely high right now. And this process could take extremely long because you have so much competition on the MLS. You're almost not gonna get the property that you and your wife love. When you think about how can you make this shopping process, this emotional process of buying your first house or your next house, how can you dumb this process down, make it simple so you almost have no competition, so that way you can get a better price and have more equity and be able to make more cash flow? Well, I'm actually gonna tell you how I purchased this house right here beside me. This was actually our second house that we purchased some years ago. We got a really great deal on it because we went direct to seller, and I want to show you and tell you my story so you guys can literally copy and paste it and do exactly what we did, which is now going to make us, after 7 years, is now going to make us over $200,000 selling this property tax-free. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action on Instagram and YouTube, and here we talk about all things real estate. Now, the way we found this particular deal was out of the ordinary. Like I said, that provided us a way that we didn't have a lot of competition. But it all started off with me and she wasn't my wife then, she's my wife now. We were trying to figure out exactly what we liked. You know, I had already purchased a house before we got engaged. And in that process, of course, it was just me. I made a decision. But when we had got engaged, we needed to make a decision together. But realistically, she had never really looked at houses, and I didn't know what she wanted. So we did this random thing. You know, I had always did this when I was a child, was just go into different parts of the city and just drive around and check out the neighborhoods. And so while we were driving, we were talking and figuring out all of these different kinds of things. And we finally got to like a really good understanding of we wanted to be on this side of town. And so it came down to two older neighborhoods, not the newer ones, because we didn't like the cookie cutter, flat back kind of houses, right? While we were driving in these neighborhoods, we realized one was, you know, for sale and listed with the realtor. And so we called the person that helped us close the last deal, and we end up checking that one out. Realistically, you know, it was a little too high and needed a little too much work for what we were looking for. So we just continued to drive around. Now, the beautiful part about knowing exactly where we wanted to be, we didn't have too far to drive. So my wife was like, well, let's just get out and walk, you know, so that way we can really manifest and experience the community like we live here. So we parked the car right up at the top of the hill, started walking down the street. When you get out and walk, you really get a real feel to what's going on in the community. You can like see through the houses. You can look through the blinds. You can, you know, people start waving at you, you know, and so that gave us a little like courage to like pick out the houses that we really liked and that we wanted, even though there was no for sale sign in front of them. So there was a vacant house right across the street from this one, and it was all grown up, you know, windows was busted, you know, and so we figured, well, that house is vacant, we like that one, let's go ahead and ask the neighbors to see if they know who owns it. And so we ended up knocking on this door, and the young lady that lived in it at the time was Shirley Wiley. And we told her what we were doing. We told her, hey, we're a young couple, we're getting married, we love this neighborhood, we want to start a family here. Who knew that this was a marketing strategy called Driving for Dollars, and this is a sales strategy called door knocking? And at that particular point, this lady sat us down in the house, and we made a private agreement that she was going to sell us her house and that she would move in 2 months. So at that point, we made an agreement for us to buy the house. Like, super amazing, like just because realistically, we wasn't expecting to get out of our car that day. We're just driving for dollars. We're just driving around in neighborhoods we wanted to stay in. Realistically, we didn't think we were actually gonna make an agreement to buy our next house. This was like a huge benefit. Doing this whole ordeal was like extremely different than most people did it, and it came with some huge advantages. Number one is this lady had not told anybody else that she wanted to sell her property. She didn't want to tell the neighbors because she's a very private person. She didn't want to tell her family members because she didn't want them to like influence her decision making. So we were the only persons that she had talked to. And so that gave us an opportunity to get a really great price, which is one of the biggest benefits of going off market and direct to seller, is that you're gonna get the best bang for your buck, the best deal. And realistically, with real estate, it is a real asset. It adds net worth to your bottom line. It makes you more lendable. You have more leverage in it, and it provides you a different form of value. All in all, we ended up buying this property with over $30,000 in equity at that particular point, which grew to $200,000 of equity at this point, because that's what real estate does, is it grows in appreciation over time. So I want to encourage you, if you're looking for your next property, that you guys go outside of the traditional route. And number one, figure out exactly what you want and start driving for dollars. Look for opportunities where you want to live at, right? And then also don't be afraid of talking directly to those sellers and figuring out if you guys can come up with an agreement outside of a realtor. You guys will get a better deal. You won't have as much competition, and then you'll be able to create the terms that you can dream of and you can imagine. Because realistically, we gave that lady 2 months to move her stuff out. We closed on her money. We closed on the property so she can get her money then. And then we gave her another 30 days so she could get the rest of her stuff, because she wasn't finished after 2 months, the rest of her stuff out of the property. And it gave us, it didn't pressure us to move out of our apartment quickly because we wasn't done with our lease yet as well. I'd like to learn more about real estate investing and how you guys can buy property with equity and then fund those transactions so that way you can buy as many as you want. Follow us right here on YouTube. Peace, y'all. See you on the next one.